Imagine this. You're stranded on a deserted island with one other person, and you discover a hidden stash of food. Do you share it equally? Take more than your fair share, or try to hoard it all? Before you answer, think about what the other person might do. Are they trustworthy? Or could they take advantage of your generosity? This situation, while dramatic, captures the essence of game theory, a fascinating field that explores how we make decisions when others' choices affect our outcomes. Game theory isn't just about extreme survival scenarios, it's everywhere. When companies compete for market share, politicians negotiate treaties, or even when friends decide where to eat, they're engaging in strategic decision-making. It's a delicate dance of predicting others' moves while considering your own best interests. But here's the kicker. In many cases, the most logical choice isn't always the most beneficial for everyone involved. At its core, game theory is about understanding the games we play every day, big or small, cooperative or competitive. It reveals the surprising ways our choices intertwine with those of others. So, as we dive deeper, prepare to see the world through a whole new lens, where every decision is part of a complex, strategic game. Game theory is a way of understanding how we make decisions when those decisions depend not only on what we do, but also on what others choose to do. It's about strategy, prediction, and interaction. Every choice we make in these scenarios can feel like part of a puzzle, where the pieces only fit together when we account for others' actions. Let's break it down to see how this works in both theory and reality. At its heart, a game involves three main elements: players, strategies, and payoffs. Players are the decision makers, strategies are the actions they can take, and payoffs are the outcomes of those actions. What makes game theory so intriguing is that the choices of one player influence the outcomes for everyone involved. It's not just about playing your cards, it's about guessing what others might do with theirs. Take the prisoner's dilemma, one of the most famous examples of game theory. Imagine two people caught committing a crime and being interrogated separately. Each is offered a deal: confess and betray the other or stay silent. If both stay silent, they get a light punishment. If one confesses while the other stays silent, the confessor goes free, and the silent one gets a harsher sentence. If both confess, they both face significant punishment. The dilemma arises because the logical choice for each prisoner, confessing, leads to a worse outcome for both than if they had cooperated and stayed silent. This example reveals a key tension in game theory, the conflict between individual rationality and collective benefit. This same principle plays out in everyday life. Think about businesses competing in a market. Should they cooperate by setting stable prices or compete by undercutting each other? If both compete aggressively, profits can plummet for everyone. If they cooperate, they might achieve more stable gains. The challenge lies in trust. How do you ensure others will stick to the agreement when there's an incentive to cheat for personal gain? This question is at the core of countless real-world scenarios, from corporate strategies to international treaties. Another foundational concept in game theory is the Nash equilibrium, named after John Nash, a brilliant mathematician. A Nash equilibrium occurs when all players settle on strategies that they have no incentive to change. Let's say two drivers approach an intersection. One decides to yield while the other decides to go first. If both stick to these decisions, the outcome works for both. They avoid a crash. If one driver unexpectedly changes their decision, it creates chaos. The equilibrium is the balance where everyone's decisions align. But game theory isn't limited to traffic rules or competitive markets. Its principles have shaped fields as diverse as biology, politics, and artificial intelligence. In biology, it helps explain how animals evolve cooperative behaviors, like fish swimming in schools for protection, or birds taking turns keeping watch. In politics, game theory is used to analyze voting systems and negotiation strategies. And in technology, it's essential in designing algorithms that guide everything from online auctions to self-driving cars. What makes game theory even more fascinating is its connection to psychology. Human decision-making is rarely purely rational. Emotions, biases, and trust all play significant roles. For example, in experiments involving the prisoner's dilemma, some participants choose to cooperate, even when betraying would yield a higher reward. Why? Because humans value relationships, fairness, and reputation. Game theory, while rooted in logic, often reveals the deeply human elements that influence our choices. Despite its insights, game theory isn't perfect. It assumes players act rationally and have complete information about the game. In reality, decisions are often made with incomplete data, and people can act unpredictably. Moreover, trust and communication can alter the dynamics entirely. If the prisoners in the classic dilemma could communicate, they might agree to cooperate, changing the game's outcome entirely. This is a reminder that real life is more complex than any model can capture. As we explore game theory further, one thing becomes clear. It's not just about competition. Cooperation and trust are equally important. The games we play in life often involve finding ways to work together, even when it's tempting to act purely in our own self-interest. Whether we're negotiating a deal, solving global challenges, or simply deciding who does the dishes, game theory provides a lens through which we can better understand the dynamics of our choices. In the end, game theory isn't just about mathematics or strategy. It's about us. It's about how we navigate a world full of interdependent decisions, where our outcomes are intertwined with those of others. This interplay of logic, trust, and humanity is what makes it so endlessly intriguing. Game theory offers a powerful lens through which we can examine the complexities of human interaction. It shows us that our decisions rarely exist in isolation. They are deeply intertwined with the choices of others. This interconnectedness reveals a profound truth about our world. Success often requires not just self-interest, but also a deep understanding of the people around us. Whether it's in business, politics, or personal relationships, the principles of game theory teach us to navigate the delicate balance between competition and cooperation. Yet game theory is more than a set of strategies or equations. It challenges us to think critically about the motives and emotions that drive human behavior. Why do we sometimes choose trust over logic? Why does cooperation often emerge in the face of conflict? These questions remind us that we are not purely rational beings. Our actions are shaped by trust, fear, empathy, and a desire for fairness. Game theory may start with mathematics, but it ultimately leads us to the human heart. In today's world, where global challenges like climate change and political tensions demand collective action, the lessons of game theory are more relevant than ever. It urges us to find common ground, to anticipate others' needs, and to recognize that the best outcomes often come from working together. So, as you reflect on the games you play in your own life, remember that every decision is an opportunity. It's a chance to not only win, but to create solutions that benefit everyone involved. And that's a game worth mastering.